Hey everybody, it's Biggie. Welcome to Biggie's YouTube channel. And today we got another edition of some carburetor issues. As you can see, been doing a lot of carb rebuild stuff. And so today I got my parts. We took the carburetor off the Shithawk, which is a 780 CFM Holley double pumper. So had some issues, so we're going to get the video started here. And I'll show you where we're at with the rebuild so far. So, if you don't mind, I had to jam out. So, anyway, as I told you guys, with this particular carburetor was having a problem. Cold start, shooting fireballs, blah, blah, blah. Talked to a gentleman. Told me the reason for it. Quick history. The car was fuel injected, converted to carbureted. The guy did not use a fuel regulator on it to cut the fuel pressure down. So ran 40-45 psi fuel pressure straight into the carburetor. The car ran, not great, but it ran. So I went ahead, I put a Holley fuel pressure regulator on the car. Night and day, idled better, ran smoother. Still had a problem with the when you dump it, it would like hesitate and go. I thought it was spark plugs or the carburetor was too big. Talked with a gentleman that I look up to, and he told me that no. What it is when you don't run a regulator, when you like a carburetor is only designed to handle maybe 14 psi of fuel pressure tops. Okay, that's what they're designed to handle. You went ahead and jammed 3 times that into that carburetor, you're going to blow shit up. And that's what he said happened. He told me, he says, basically that carburetor is fine. As far as the size, I thought it was too big, but he says it's fine because they were running them back in 1969 on small block 350s and Z28s in those years and for everything. He says that the carburetor size is fine. He says the problem is when you run that kind of fuel pressure, and with the fact that it was shooting fireballs, he says that tells me that the power valves are blown out of it, and that's what happens. It hesitates, and when you cold start it, it just doesn't know what to do, so it just does all this crazy crap. Other than that, the carburetor ran fine. Cruising, it was fine. Add power or cold start, that's when it had issues. So anyway, this is what I got. I got this Holley trip kit. It has different power valves. Here's your part number. Okay, we don't fucking need that shit. So basically, here's what the guy told me. These things come stock with 6.5 power valves in them. Okay, so what does that mean? I didn't know either. I had to explain to me because I've been working with fuel injection most of the time I've been in the cars. Carburetors, I'm actually learning backwards. Imagine that. Anyway, carburetors work on the principle of engine vacuum. Okay, so basically, the lower the engine vacuum, the higher the fuel it's going to go, and the higher the engine vacuum, the less fuel. Case in point. So here's where it comes into play. So your power valve before is like a 6.5. So in other words, that at a certain when you mash the loud pedal, vacuum drops. That's the way internal combustion engines work. They make most vacuum at idle, or when you're off the accelerator going down a hill decelerating, the vacuum goes through the roof. So anyway, a stock engine, you're looking anywhere, I believe it's 14 or 17 inches of vacuum to 21, 22, something like that. I'd have to look it up, but it's about that range. So anyway, so when you hit the loud pedal and you open those butterflies up, it's sucking the atmosphere through the fucking intake manifold through the carburetor. So obviously you want to create this vacuum, and it's just the vacuum. It's not there because that's what's happening. There's no vacuum in the engine because it's just flowing so much. So anyway, that being said, that's how your vacuum secondaries and everything works. It works on the principle that the less vacuum, it actually is going to open up your secondary side of your carburetor when the vacuum drops. It's going to open up the 2 more barrels, which will give you the 4 barrel. And the power valve works on that principle also, because what ends up happening is the power valve that was in there was a 6.5. So a 6.5 power valve, when the vacuum drops down to that point, it's going to open. Now, the gentleman told me put 8.5 power valves in it. So you would think, oh, the higher the number, it's going to take longer. Wrong. What happens is, now that I put 8.5 here, I'll show you here. It's actually stamped. I don't know. I'm trying to, if you can see that. 8.5 power valve. What's going to happen is that power valve is going to open sooner. So when you dump the loud pedal, you don't have to, and then the car takes off. This thing should be instant. As soon as you hit the throttle, it should go, because 8.5 vacuum, the engine's going to get to before it gets to 6.5. It's just common sense. That's the way it works. So now when it gets to 8.5, it's going to open that up and dump the fuel in, which should hopefully, if timing is right, which I'm going to play with, if you get your tune-up right, the thing will take off much quicker than the stock valve, which is 6.5, sooner I should say. So that's what we did here. I replaced both power valves, because this has 2 metering blocks on it. I put 8 fives in to help that activate quicker, to give me that crisper, better response when I hit the loud pedal. So anyway, we did that. I got the bottom back on the carburetor, cleaned up the mating surfaces on this. I already have the bottom back on. I cleaned up the metering blocks. Hey, I didn't strip out the fucking idle mixture screws this time. So those gasket surfaces are clean. They're ready to go. So basically, where we're at is we're ready to put the metering blocks on. We're ready to put the fuel bowls on and bolt this carburetor back together. So that way, it's ready to be put back on the shithawk. And we're gonna see how it runs. And theoretically, with those new power valves, it should have crisper, better response. It should get rid of that bogging hesitation. So anyway, I'm going to adjust the camera here, and we're going to get going here and see if we can get this thing together. All right, so hang on with me here. Let me take it down here to the workbench. Now, so here we go with the, I believe this is the primary side, or the front, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find, now the gaskets that I took off here, I could not save. They were, I think they were the original pieces, and they were terrible. I'm thinking here, this here is going to work. Yeah. So we're going to take that and place that onto here and line up where the screws are going to go in. We're going to line that up. Then we have our fuel bowl next. And go ahead. Well, first thing we're going to do is we have all these dowels, remember, from the last rebuild we did, and that one's not really fitting. So we'll check out the other one in the kit. If that don't fit, then I guess we got to flip them around. I should have checked this. Oh, and I also took the jets out to clean those. So we're going to see what all's happening here, why I'm having a hard time here again. And see how this can be a bit of a pain in the butt. So we have that for that. So don't tell me they don't have the right gasket in here. I'm sure they do. I just don't see any more blue gaskets. So it's got to be one of these here. I'm pretty positive of that. So we'll make sure we get those in, that everything seals the way it should. I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time. The last one was so much better. But I just, so we have that like that. I just don't like the way that looks. That doesn't look right. So sometimes you just got to do it. You got to take a step back and just be like, okay, that
Just doesn't look right to me. Hopefully they didn't send me the wrong gaskets. That would suck. Okay, so that's for the back side. So we're going to flip this over and see if that looks better placement there. Make sure everything's the way it should be. And that's what happens when you have kits. These kits are made to fit multiple carburetors, and sometimes this is what ends up happening. So again, we got to watch with this, because we got to make sure this works with this linkage here. So we'll make sure that's up, put that under there, and we'll line this up. We got the new O-rings on these already. And of course one drops. So let me see if I can quickly locate one. There's one. Seriously, so you dropped two of them. My God. It looks like an instant replay of basically everything else I've done with this car. So try it again, this time with feeling. Put that there. And do it this end. Like I said, all the hardware I already did. Now, the difference, I know we said last time, when you do your idle mixture, we said about to set it at 1.5 turns out. This is actually going to be different in that I was told by the gentleman to go with 3, because these carburetors, they like to run a little on the fat side, if you will, a little on the rich side. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're going to set it up fat, and I want to see what the vacuum gauge says and go from there. But for now, we're going to start with the this 3 setup. And of course, this thing is giving me a hard time as usual, and I think a lot of it has to do with the gasket. The one started, and yeah, that's how it goes, folks. Sometimes it's just everything fights you. So we're gonna take this off and take a look at this and find out what the deal is with this, and see if we can get this fixed the right way, not that we end up messing something up. So alright, I'm gonna take this apart, take a look at it, and then I'll be right back with you guys, okay? Alright guys, we're back again. Basically, we got this on, we aligned it up, we got our power pump, the accelerator pump underneath where it should be. We got our screws tight on here, holding it in. Looks good. We got our adjustments here. While we're here, we're going to inspect our line, our vacuum line here. Make sure that's not cracked or has holes or cut or anything. So check that, see how that is. So now we have that on. We'll flip it over, and now what we'll do this side, And again, we put an 8.5 power valve in here, and we cleaned out the jets on that. So now we'll put the gasket on. Make sure that you'll feel when the dowels line up, it'll like pop in, and you'll know it. So then what we'll do, we'll learn something from the one that gave us a hard time. On the other side, we'll put the bolts in like this first, and then we'll take the gasket that's what was happening. Because it's such, these bowls are so much bigger than on the 600 that the bolts will actually go crooked. So we actually have it upside down. Just look at your mating surface of your metering block. So you have the 4 at the top, and then line your bowl holes up like that. Okay, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4 dowels here, and then you have 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. So then basically what you're going to do is take this and kind of carefully put that in there. Okay, now we can, you're gonna have to probably move around a little bit on this thing to get it right. And then once the bolt, you check if they're threading, you'll be able to feel it. This one's going, this one's going. It's actually going to pull that fuel bowl straight. So do a little bit at a time to get that thing tight. Now we'll go back this way. I like going back and forth in the next pattern, and I say that every video that I do with a carb, or it just, like I said before, it's more even clamping that you get when you do it that way. So we'll go back and forth here until we get it tight. Now that, let me double check. Tight. There. And then we have that. Now, let's take a last gander at this thing. It looks beautiful. Looks like it turned out good. So anyway, that's it's all together. Double checked, all your gaps look good on the carburetor. If you see anything that looks like it's not even, check your work. We got that right. The accelerator pump, we got that on the right side. We got the idle mixture screws done right. Everything looks tight. So there she is, 780 CFM Holley rebuild. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I said, it worked fine in the car, so I wasn't overly worried about too much of it, other than the power valves were shot, and I also wanted to put lighter ones in so the 4-barrel kicks in a lot sooner. So anyway, that's it for today. I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to throw this bad boy on tonight yet and check, or maybe I'll throw it on tomorrow, and I'll have a video of it running with the new rebuild, and we'll start doing some tuning then at that point with the vacuum gauge, the timing light, and everything. So that's that. So, and also I want to give a shout out again. Got my Monster Hydro going on again, just because it's late. It's actually probably early evening, like, well, maybe mid, like it's 8 p.m. Cheers, bitches. So a little bit of liquid meth isn't too bad to help keep you going. So
that's what's gonna be coming up. I'm gonna try and do my next video on me actually tuning the car, getting it set up. And I got my other camera working, so we might be able to do some in-car live action or some shenanigans. So anyway, please like and subscribe and comment. Like I said, I'm learning this carburetor stuff. Not saying it's the only correct way to do it. I'm sure everybody has a different way of doing it, and if you do, let me know. That way I can get my head kind of wrapped around different stuff and it would help me out. But please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas for any upcoming video ideas you would like, or any upcoming projects, let me know. You can hit me up. Well, I got the I'm still this big high dollar promotion here on Facebook. Big E's Drag Specialties next. I mean, look at that. That's some high quality freaking Bill Gates type of shit right there, man. That's high dollar. That took me, wow, that took me a long time to do that. That was custom order. Anyway, check me out on Facebook there, and you'll probably be easier to reach me there. That's the new Facebook page. Also, Eric Snyder 26 on Instagram. Also, if you have any other questions, email me at ericsnyder802@gmail.com. Had to think there for a minute. Brain fart. Happens. I'm old. Happens. Anyway, take care of each other. Watch out for each other. Oh, crap. I forgot. I want to give a big shout out to Zilla Chronicles 52 Latimer. Check him out. He's got some motivational stuff. He'll set your shit straight. If you want to be offended, check him out. Good friends with him. Good guy. He's straight shooter. Check him out. Check out his YouTube channel. He's great. But anyway, take care of each other. Watch out for each other. And we'll see you next time on Big E's.